Hi guys, welcome to Animeized. This is the English translated version of the novel Throne of Steel. The novel differs slightly from the Chinese animation or Donghua. If you want more of these videos, please smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Enjoy and have a blessed day.
They might have encountered a human demon hunting squad. At the mention of the words, demon hunting squad, Agar's expression turned somewhat grim. As a demon god, he held a deep grudge against demon hunting squads. These elusive human warriors could become significant foes at any time. Agar himself had encountered assassination attempts by demon hunting squads over 10 times. One of those attempts had even left him seriously injured. Fengxiu's brow furrowed and he said, "This matter isn't insignificant, but not long ago, I sensed the presence of that fellow." Agar's was intrigued. "That fellow? The one you mentioned last time?" Fengxiu nodded slightly. "A Loser. Ranked 52, reported to me that I personally visited the exorcism pass. However, I didn't find anything. But this time, I truly sensed its aura, although it's very faint, yet the purity of that aura is undeniable. A Loser most likely has truly arrived in this world. However, it's likely still in its early stages, far from being powerful." Agars took a sharp breath. "Big brother, we must not allow a Loser to grow stronger, otherwise, it will be a disaster for us. Our ancestors had to join forces to barely seal it away in the past, yet it still broke through those barriers, forcing us to forcibly open a portal to this world. In that confrontation, didn't a Loser already die? How could this be?" Fengxiu shook his head and said, "In truth, you all don't know the whole story about this event. The circumstances at the time were extremely complicated. We didn't create the portal ourselves, as our ancestors' cultivation levels were far from sufficient. Only a Loser had the power to tear through dimensions. As for the exact process, it's better that you remain unaware." Agars nodded slightly. "Big brother, please tell me what you need me to do. I will follow your orders without hesitation." Fengxiu said, "Send out all the strong members of your clan. I'm planning a comprehensive search within the demon race, under the guise of exterminating human demon hunting squads, but actually searching for a Loser's presence. A Loser might be weak at the moment, but it's not easy to deal with, and if you find any trace, don't act recklessly. We must personally take action to completely eliminate it. Keep this matter a secret. Only the three of us should know about it. Don't even inform Samikian, to avoid causing panic among the lower ranks." "Yes." Fengxiu stood up and said, "Let's go, come to my place and have a drink. Relax a bit." Agar smiled wryly and said, "I'll pass for now. Just hearing the word Loser makes me feel uneasy. I'll focus on arranging the search for it first. Big brother, at least provide me with some direction." Fengxiu nodded and said, "When I sensed its aura, it was at the Furious Roar Cavern. But the sensation disappeared completely the next time, as if it had never been there. That's all the information I have. You are in charge of our entire demon race's intelligence, so I leave this matter to you. I expect a report within 3 months. I'll do my best." Fengxiu's expression turned cold. "It can't be just doing your best, you must absolutely achieve it. This is about our life and death, even though we've never seen the true Loser. The fact that it forced our ancestors into such a situation shows its terror." Waiting to Long Haochen was truly exhausting, always keeping their heads down. It was far from comfortable. Finally, the demon god emperor has left, and Long Haochen didn't feel that terrifying gaze anymore. The Moon Demon Clan's strong members in front were called into the palace by Agars. Only then did he quietly return to the sleeping quarters with Yi. After entering the sleeping quarters, Yi dismissed the maids, and both she and Long Haochen practically collapsed on the ground exhausted. The mental pressure had been immense. "Do you know? At that moment, I really wanted to kill you," Yi said indignantly. Long Haochen smiled bitterly and said, "I was in the wrong. I shouldn't have lifted my head and looked into its eyes. I didn't expect the demon god emperor's spiritual power to be so sensitive." "Didn't expect it?" Yuye's voice suddenly rose. "Do you even realize that your didn't expect it almost cost me my life? Fine, just leave quickly, settle down at the address I told you before. I'll arrange for your departure as soon as possible." "Okay, I'll leave now." Long Haochen changed out of the maid's clothes, returning to his usual attire. He apologized to Yi once again, and quickly left. Watching his departing figure, Yi finally relaxed completely, but her eyes weren't relieved. Instead, they held contemplation. "The Emperor should have noticed him, right? But why didn't the Emperor take action? Could it be to save face for my father? But that's completely unnecessary." It's unclear whether it's because Long Haochen and the others posed a threat to Yi's safety, but after only 2 days, Yi sent a message. The merchant caravan was being assembled, and it would depart for the Holy Temple Alliance in 2 days. Long Haochen had to return and prepare. After experiencing the bad luck and hardships on the way here, Lady Luck had finally smiled upon Long Haochen and his team. The command given by the demon god Emperor Fengxiu was for the moon demon god Agars to oversee the search throughout the entire demon territory, rather than instructing the rank 4 demon god Sammakina, under these circumstances, who would check the caravan of Agar's beloved daughter. Moreover, the Moonlit Night Merchant Company had already gone through the tragedy of Narak province not long ago, which had angered the demon god emperor. And news of the heavy punishment to Narak province had already spread widely. The demon race had even compensated the Moonlit Night Merchant Company for their losses. With these factors combined, even though the demon race had started searching their entire territory, Long Haochen's group returned to the Holy Temple Alliance smoothly without any hitches. Yi didn't accompany this caravan. Instead, she left Long Haochen with her contact information and a time frame, so that Chai Er could alleviate the restraints on her. Accompanying the Moonlit Night Merchant Company into the southeastern fortress, the 2 demon hunting squads didn't linger, and under Long Haochen's guidance, they left the fortress directly, arriving in the nearby Star Search City. It was only when they checked into a hotel that everyone's nerves finally relaxed completely. They decided to stay there, and they ended up staying for 3 days straight, during which they all slept heavily and simultaneously. The exhaustion wasn't just physical, but also mental and psychological. Since the day they left the Holy Temple Alliance for this mission, their minds had been in a constant state of tension. They had gone through several near-death experiences, yet they hadn't been able to definitively accomplish their mission. Returning to the Holy Temple Alliance, their first sensation was that of coming home. It was the first time for both demon hunting squads to undertake a mission, and they were far from fully adapting to this perilous lifestyle. They all needed this relaxation process so much. After 3 days of rest and recuperation, their spirits and emotions had recovered significantly. Only then did they set out again, heading straight for the Holy City. Both squads needed rest and recovery. Even though they hadn't necessarily completed their mission this time, their gains were substantial. They had undergone great self-improvement, gained strength, and accumulated experience, like never before. On their return journey, they intentionally rented carriages, which weren't fast, and it took a full 15 days to return to the Holy City. These 15 days were also a time for them to reflect on their experiences and gains from the mission. Long Haochen gathered the achievements of their group, and he was astonished to find out that they had accumulated more than 20,000 merits from this mission. It was a number he had never expected. It's surprising that they gained so many merits just through killing. It really caught him off guard. In reality, the reason for this abundance is mainly due to the significant role their commander level number 21 demon hunting squad played in various battles, especially in the slaughter of powerful demons, where demons of the 6th and 7th ranks almost always perished at their hands. It's not surprising that they earned a significant number of merits. On the other hand, the gains for soldier level number 4 demon hunting squad weren't nearly as substantial, with a total merit income of less than 10,000. However, they had accumulated merits from trials, so the team's total merits exceeded 10,000. Long Haochen didn't hide the benefits of advancing to a commander-level demon hunting squad. Moreover, after this mission, soldier level number 4 demon hunting squad's overall strength had been honed and elevated through life and death experiences. They had decided that their first priority upon returning would be to advance their demon hunting squad's level. After discussions among the 7 members of commander level number 21 demon hunting squad, they chose not to evenly distribute the merits this time. After this period of adjustment, their mutual trust had reached a profound level. While evenly distributing merits was certainly fair, it also limited the team's development. Therefore, they collectively decided to allocate the merits where they were most needed. This approach was evidently the most suitable for the team's growth. After a long absence, the Holy City finally appeared in front of the 2 demon hunting squads after 15 days. They felt an overwhelming urge to shed tears. At Long Haochen's suggestion, the squads didn't immediately return to their mansions for rest. Instead, they went directly to the demon hunting squad mission tower to submit the mission. What? 200,000 merits? Are you kidding me? Upon hearing the explanation from the task tower staff, even Long Haochen's good temper flared up. The expressions on everyone's faces turned exceedingly unpleasant. Long Haochen stood there with a cold demeanor, and he looked at the staff in front of him with a stern voice. I hope the task tower can provide an explanation. Don't you realize that an irresponsible mission could bring about disastrous consequences? Lu Shi was even more aggressive, slamming the desk on the counter with force. No wonder it's so difficult, bastards! This is nonsense. What a piece of shit task. Is this how you issue tasks? What if we die at the hands of demons? This matter must be explained to us. Otherwise, I won't tolerate it. The staff member remained the same person who had received Long Haochen's group before. Seeing the 13 young demon hunters in front of him so agitated, he felt somewhat flustered. Please calm down, everyone. This mistake in the mission is indeed our fault. The task tower will also provide compensation for this error in the mission. We won't evade responsibility for it. The mission tower had compensated for it. Even if the mission ends in failure, we'll reward you with 20,000 merits, equivalent to the reward for accepting the mission. Unfortunately, this staff member underestimated the attitudes of these young people in front of him. Chen Yinair sneered and said, Are they trying to dismiss us with just 20,000 merits? This is an attempt to shirk responsibility. Captain, we're not handing over this mission. Let's go to the Alliance government. I refuse to believe that we won't get a fair explanation. I'm going to find my grandmother. Lin Xin, you go find your grandfather. Without hesitation, Long Haochen turned around, leading the group outside. Soldier level number 4 demon hunting squad had grown accustomed to following them, and under Lu Shi's guidance, they followed behind, heading out. The staff member's face turned pale. What should I do? This is going to be a big issue. Even though he wasn't directly responsible, he had assigned the mission, and when they discovered the problem with the mission, he failed to report it to higher authorities to avoid responsibility. At the time, he thought that, as newly appointed demon hunting squads, even if the missions were incorrect, there wouldn't be much of a reaction. He didn't anticipate that demon hunting squad, led by Long Haochen, could be called the Crown Prince Squad. And each of them was not to be trifled with. Not daring to underestimate them, the staff member quickly went to report to higher authorities, leaving the demon hunting squad task tower. Exposed to the cold wind, Long Haochen became slightly more alert. However, when he looked at Chai-Er in his arms, his anger surged once again. If it wasn't for the mission's mistake, how could Chai-Er have ended up like this? This matter couldn't be let go easily. Being kind didn't mean being weak. On the contrary, Long Haochen's character was straightforward, contrasting his delicate appearance. As a captain, if he showed weakness in this matter, how could he continue to lead his team? Lu Shi walked up to Long Haochen and said, Captain Long, what should we do now? Are we really going to the Alliance government? We might be insignificant, but the mission task tower is a vital part of the Alliance. The Alliance might not be inclined to support us. Long Haochen took a deep breath and said, However, we can't let the Alliance discourage us either. Captain Lu, you all should go back. Leave this matter to us. I'll give you an answer once we have news. What do you think? Lu Shi's face changed. Captain Long, what do you mean? We've risked our lives together against demons. Now that we are back in our own territory, we want back out, since they wanted to seek justice. It's only natural to go together. As soon as he said this, the other 5 members of Soldier Level Number 4 Demon Hunting Squad became excited. They were truly afraid that Lu Shi might hesitate at this crucial moment. After all, they didn't want to be called spineless. Without Commander Level Number 21 Demon Hunting Squad members, they might have lost their lives to demons. Let's go. Long Haochen waved his hand, and the group of 13 people charged aggressively towards the Holy Alliance government. It's important to note that this is the Holy City, and the Holy Alliance government is the heart of the entire Holy Alliance. Seeking justice here is equivalent to giving the Alliance government a slap in the face. Not just anyone can have this kind of courage. Despite Long Haochen's anger, his mind was clear. He had no other choice but to go to the government directly. Apart from the Holy Alliance government, who else could control the Demon Hunting Squad task tower? The high status of the task tower couldn't be shaken by just a few of them. The Holy Alliance government wasn't far from the Demon Hunting Squad task tower. Soon, they reached the entrance of the government. Despite her young age and small stature, Chen Yi-ner had the strongest temper at times like this. Captain, what's the plan? Long Haochen said solemnly. We're right at the entrance of the government. Let's wait for the Alliance to give us an explanation. Huh? Is that it? Chen Yi-ner voiced her dissatisfaction. Isn't this making a fuss about nothing? However, Long Haochen's next move left everyone astonished. The captain of Commander Level Number 21 Demon Hunting Squad walked straight to the entrance of the Alliance government. He directly sat cross-legged on the ground, with Chai-Er sitting beside him in his embrace. He positioned himself just 3 meters away from the government entrance. Although he didn't block the entrance, this behavior could only be described as audacious. There were only 2 guards at the entrance of the Alliance government, and they stared in shock as this young man sat down. They thought their eyes were playing tricks on them. Could someone really dare to block the entrance of the Alliance government? Had he gone mad? Just as the 2 guards were stepping forward in surprise, a group of people hurriedly approached Long Haochen. The 13 people formed a line, almost completely blocking the entrance of the Alliance government. What are you all doing? The 2 guards had already approached. Long Haochen raised his hand, and in his hand was the Demon Hunting Squad emblem. Commander Level Number 21 Demon Hunting Squad is here to request an explanation. Please provide us with an explanation. Lu Shi also presented the emblem of their Soldier Level Number 4 Demon Hunting Squad. The 2 guards who were about to take action suddenly stopped. They certainly understood the significance of the Demon Hunting Squad. Almost all the high-ranking members of the Alliance came from the Demon Hunting Squad. For a moment, they didn't dare to lay hands on these young people. The 2 guards exchanged a glance, and one of them hurriedly walked back into the government. The other guard frowned at the group and said, Let's talk this out civilly. What's this behavior? Even though they were guards, this one was over 40 years old. At this moment, his aura was quite imposing. Unfortunately, his threat was ineffective. Regrettably, his attempt at intimidation was in vain. Long Haochen and the other 13 members completely ignored him. They remained seated, unmoving. The Holy Alliance government was located at the center of the Holy City, and with their significant commotion, they naturally attracted the attention of passers-by. However, due to the Alliance's authority, no one dared to approach too closely. After a short while, a swift black figure emerged from the Alliance government. And who else could it be but the Deputy Hall Master of the Assassin Temple, Yin Shuifeng? He had coincidentally encountered the guard while coming down the stairs. The guard quickly explained the situation he had witnessed outside the door. Yin Shuifeng thought, "Who is this person? How audacious to block the entrance like this, even though the demon hunting squad is esteemed, they can't just defy the Alliance like this." It seemed like they had grievances, but if every demon hunting squad started blocking the Alliance government's entrance whenever they felt wronged, what kind of order would that be? Therefore, he emerged with a smoldering anger. However, when he saw the people sitting at the entrance, he was immediately taken aback. Wasn't that Long Haochen and Chai Er? "Long Haochen, what are you doing? Are you rebelling? Get up quickly!" Yin Shuifeng angrily shouted, not holding back his temper. Long Haochen shook his head firmly and said, "If the Alliance doesn't provide us with an explanation, we won't stand up." "Nonsense, what kind of explanation do you want? Get up and explain yourself." Yin Shuifeng's face was filled with anger, surprised that this young man was causing trouble. They were just a newly formed demon hunting squad. Obviously, they were using their positions in the temples to create a disturbance. Yin Shuifeng was aware of the backgrounds of these young ones, which only fueled his anger. However, he didn't directly pull Long Haochen up, considering Chai Er was here. "Long," Haochen said in a deep voice. "Shadow Hall Master, I hope you'll understand the situation before reprimanding us. Chai Er has always regarded you as an elder. Do you know that, if it wasn't for our luck this time, we might not even be alive sitting here?" Upon hearing this, Yin Shuifeng's anger lessened slightly. He furrowed his brows and said, "What exactly happened?" Lu Shi and the others had seen Yin Shuifeng before, and they saw that Yin Shuifeng's tone had softened while listening to Long Haochen. They couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Suppressing his anger, Long Haochen recounted the events that had transpired. After hearing this, Yin Shuifeng's expression changed. "Damn it. Those idiots at the task tower. They actually did something like this. Don't worry, the Alliance will definitely provide you with an explanation. I assure you of that as the Deputy Hall Master of the Assassin Temple. Children, stand up first. After all, this is the entrance of the Alliance government. Come inside with me." Listening to Long Haochen's words, Yin Shuifeng felt a cold sweat running down his back. Other people might not know, but how could he not know? Although Long Haochen's demon hunting squad wasn't yet powerful, just look at their lineup. Just the identities of Son of Light and Saintess of Reincarnation are enough to cause a commotion in the two major temples, not to mention the other youngsters who are also formidable. Long Haochen nodded silently, and helped Chai Er to her feet. "Shadow Hall Master, we'll leave it to you then." Blocking the entrance was just to get the government's attention, not to provoke a confrontation. Yin Shuifeng had indicated that he would thoroughly investigate this matter. He understood the gravity of the situation. Yin Shuifeng looked at Chai Er's eyes, which had turned completely gray, with a blazing anger in his own eyes. He turned to the guards beside him and said, "Take these children to the small meeting room to rest. Instruct them to provide food and drinks. Haochen, you all wait here. This matter will definitely be resolved today." After saying this, Yin Shuifeng turned and went back to the government. The two guards exchanged glances, feeling like a storm was brewing. Long Haochen and the others went to the small meeting room to rest, but the entire Alliance government was now in a state of alarm. Yin Shuifeng's first visit was to Han Qian, who was in charge of the government's daily affairs. He explained the situation, and Han Qian slammed his hand down, shattering his own desk. The demon hunting squad is directly managed by the Temple's Alliance, and it's a self-contained system. The demon hunting squad is managed by its own members, and the Alliance doesn't typically interfere with its day-to-day affairs. The demon hunting squad has always been directly overseen by the Task Tower's main authority. The Task Tower's main authority is rotated among the title-level demon hunting squad members. However, their role is largely symbolic, since they have their own missions to undertake. So, in reality, the management of the demon hunting squad is overseen by a few high-ranking members of the Temple's Alliance. After his anger subsided, Han Qian immediately summoned several high-ranking members from the four major temples at the Alliance government. The 6 Deputy Hall Masters gathered together. "What? Something like this happened?" Granny Sanshui slammed her hand on the table and stood up, her face so dark it seemed to be dripping water. The face of Mage Temple Saint Magus Linchin also looked extremely grim, with a glint of anger in his eyes. All 6 Deputy Hall Masters were furious, as this was a colossal mistake. Moreover, what was even more crucial was, the demon hunting squad involved in this mission had a very close relationship with them. In private conversations they often referred to Long Haochen's demon hunting squad as the Crown Prince of Demon Hunting Squads. Warrior Temple's Deputy Hall Master and War Emperor and Wukong's fierce gaze intensified. "What is going on? If news of this gets out, how can the demon hunting squad continue to exist, especially the high-level demon hunting squads? Those are all senior figures that even we can't afford to provoke. If this isn't handled well, it will be a huge problem. Priest Temple Hall Master Ruo Shui nodded and said, "That's right. We must provide an explanation to the children, and we need to quickly eliminate the impact of this matter," Han Qian said calmly. "Long Haochen is my disciple's grandson, and I should have avoided getting involved in this matter. But Long Haochen is the future hope of Night Temple. If you all agree, then let's go together to the task tower." Granny San Shui said irritably, "Avoidance my foot. Yin Er is still my granddaughter. I won't avoid this. I'll protect her. The task tower needs to be thoroughly reformed, and those responsible must be severely punished. This is not just negligence, it's tantamount to murder." The 6 deputy hall masters immediately categorized this incident, and what followed was chaos within the task tower. Long Haochen and the others were unaware of the subsequent handling of the matter. When they arrived at the Alliance government, it was noon, and they had waited in the small meeting room, eating and drinking, for the entire afternoon. As night was about to fall, the 6 deputy hall masters appeared before them together. Seeing the arrival of the 6 deputy hall masters, Long Haochen and the others quickly stood up. Han Qian waved his hand and said, "All right, everyone please sit down. The Alliance is sorry for what happened this time. On behalf of the Alliance, we apologize to you." As he spoke, the 6 deputy hall masters simultaneously bowed slightly to the 13 young individuals before them. Long Haochen and the others were startled and hurriedly returned the gesture. In that moment, much of their anger subsided. The actions of the 6 deputy hall masters had conveyed the Alliance's stance on the matter. These respected and revered elders of their generation had made such a gesture, so what else could they say? Han Qian straightened up and said in a serious tone, "The situation has been thoroughly investigated. The responsibility lies entirely with the negligence of the task tower staff. They issued the task without proper verification, and after discovering the issue, they failed to report it, letting you undertake a mission far beyond your capabilities, which led to the serious crisis you faced. We deeply apologize on behalf of the Alliance, and we assure you that such an incident will not happen again. Those responsible have been detained, and they will face at least 10 years of imprisonment as well as corporal punishment. The primary person responsible will face execution by hanging. The severity of the punishment for those responsible far exceeded what Long Haochen and the others had anticipated. And this wasn't just due to their status as the Prince Squad. The impact of this incident has been extremely negative, and Long Haochen and the others of the Demon Hunting Squad have yet to fully comprehend the authority they hold. They are just a commander-level Demon Hunting Squad. In simple terms, the position of a royal-level Demon Hunting Squad hunter is equivalent to any position below Vice Hall Master in the Temple Alliance. If an Imperial-level Demon Hunting Squad hunter were to retire from the squad, they would at least become a Vice Hall Master. A squad leader could even directly become a Hall Master. If this matter were to become known to higher-level Demon Hunting Squads, those in the higher-level Demon Hunting Squads would undoubtedly stand with Long Haochen and the others. This would put the Alliance in an even more passive position. At that point, the Alliance would be even more at a disadvantage. After all, the members of the Demon Hunting Squads are heroes who have risked their lives for the Alliance. When making the final decision on the punishment, Han Qian's words convinced the 5 deputy hall masters to agree with his decision. Han Qian's exact words were, "We cannot let the heroes be disheartened." Long Haochen took out the gemstone that recorded the images and handed it over to Han Qian. "Master, this is the outcome of the mission we completed. Please take a look. We're not sure if we succeeded or not, but we did our best. Thank you for upholding justice." Han Qian took the gemstone, sighed, and said, "Children, you've suffered through this ordeal. Thankfully, you've all returned alive. Otherwise, those bastards in the task tower would truly deserve 100 deaths. I hope this incident won't cast a shadow in your hearts. Rest assured, your mission rewards won't be reduced. After our analysis, we will provide you with accurate answers as soon as possible. After going through this mission, you all must be exhausted. Go back and rest for now." "Yes, Master." With that, both Demon Hunting Squads left contentedly. Before leaving the meeting room, Han Qian reminded them, hoping they wouldn't spread the word about this incident. Long Haochen also promised on behalf of both Demon Hunting Squads. The Alliance handled this matter as quickly as possible to prevent the spread of its negative impact, avoiding a crisis of trust within the Demon Hunting Squads. After leaving the Alliance government, the 13 individuals unconsciously came to a halt. "Lu Shi exclaimed, I never expected us to succeed so easily." Long Haochen said, "Right is right. Wrong is wrong. This isn't our success, but rather the Alliance's right decision. Let's go back to rest. This time, our reward will be no less than 20,000 merit points. Once the merit points are distributed, I'll distribute them among you." Lu Shi looked deeply at Long Haochen, but this time he didn't decline. He simply nodded in silence. After a long period of interaction, he had come to understand Long Haochen's character to some extent. He knew that Long Haochen was entirely sincere. Finally returning to the familiar villa, everyone went to their respective rooms. It can be said that in the history of the Demon Hunting Squads, there were very few squads that faced the difficulty they encountered on their first mission. It's important to note that during the entire mission, they actually encountered a 7th-ranked enemy, and yet, among them, not a single member was even of the 6th rank. Being able to return alive can only be described as a miracle. Standing on the villa's balcony, Long Haochen had Chai-Er leaning against his chest, enjoying the fresh air carried by the plants, finally finding some peace in his heart. Finally back. But Chai-Er still needed more than 6 months to fully recover. Holding her hand tightly, he led her small hand, and gently wrote in the palm of her hand. Being alive is truly wonderful. The next morning, news arrived from the Alliance government. Han Qian requested that Long Haochen come over. Haochen, please have a seat. Han Qian watched as his respectful disciple entered the office and saluted. A faint, tired smile appeared on his face. Due to the events of yesterday, he had been up all night. Master, is teacher doing well? Long Haochen took a seat in front of Han Qian's new desk. Han Qian replied. He's doing fine. His cultivation progress is quite rapid, and I've already sent him to the Night Temple. Pausing briefly, Han Qian said with seriousness. Haochen, we all watched the recorded images you brought back last night. Tell me the detailed situation about that tower. It's important for the Alliance. Long Haochen's heart trembled. He had guessed Han Qian's purpose in calling him before he came, but lying to his master was an uncomfortable feeling. It didn't feel good at all. When I woke up from unconsciousness, the tall tower had already disappeared. The sound of the fierce roar didn't appear again. Master, what was it? Han Qian furrowed his brows, pacing back and forth from behind his desk. It's hard to say right now, but based on the vengeful spirits you recorded, it's highly likely to be related to the necromancers that appeared 10,000 years ago. If it's a remnant of necromancers, we absolutely cannot let the demon race get hold of it. Long Haochen stood up and said, Master, do you need me to do anything? Han Qian shook his head and said, That's all for this matter. After you go back, instruct your team members not to disclose any details of this mission, to avoid unnecessary trouble. Yes. Long Haochen hesitated for a moment, but still asked, Master, can we consider the mission complete? Han Qian glanced at him and suddenly smiled. You really look like a squad leader now. Don't worry, go back. The people from the mission tower will contact you tomorrow. They need to ensure your silence. Consider it as compensation from the Alliance. Thank you, Master. Hearing this, Long Haochen's mood instantly improved. With Han Qian's assurance, their merits from this mission were definitely more than just 20,000. It was probably at least 50,000 merits. The people from the mission tower did come the next day, but their message to Long Haochen was different from what he had expected, because the message they brought was that the mission was completed. And it was the completion of an altered mission. Upon receiving this news, everyone from the commander level number 21 demon hunting squad was stunned. We're rich. Lin Sin's voice echoed like a wail of a ghost and howl of a wolf in the villa. When Lu Shi led the members of the grade 4 hunter team and arrived at the villa of the commander level number 21 demon hunting squad, the eyes of the 6 individuals were somewhat red. The reason was simple. When Long Haochen had asked Han Yu to summon them, he had only said one thing. Mission completed, merits distributed. Mission completed. Hearing these 4 words, whether it was Li Sin, Lu Shi, Dian Yan, Yi Jun, Bai Xiaomo, or Han Daoxi, all 6 of them were instantly dumbfounded. Lu Shi even swallowed his saliva. As if fearing it would drip, he asked Han Yu. 20,000 or 200,000? Han Yu's answer was also filled with difficulty. 20. So, when Lu Shi and the other 5 arrived at the villa of the commander level number 21 demon hunting squad, their expressions were almost like when facing demons, bloodshot eyes and all, upon entering the villa, except for Chai-Er and Long Haochen. Everyone else from the commander level number 21 demon hunting squad was there. Their expressions were even more incredulous than those of Lu Shi and the others, especially Lin Sin, who was lying on the sofa, fiddling with an abacus-like object in his hand, and playing with the Thunderbird's feather. Occasionally, a droplet of crystalline liquid fell from the corner of his mouth. Hello, where's Captain Long? Lu Shi swallowed his saliva again. He actually wanted to slap himself. He felt so useless. But that's just how it was. 30% of 200,000. That's 60,000 merits. What does this mean? It means that each of them could receive a powerful elixir that could only be taken once but could increase their spiritual power by 1,000. It means that after they advance to commander level, they can take on even more challenging missions. This advancement is likely something they wouldn't be able to obtain even if they combined the total missions they complete in the next 1 or 2 years. It also means they can lead the way among the 10 newly established demon hunting squads, second only to commander level number 21. Without fearing being caught up by those behind them, no one could remain calm. The boss has gone to receive the merits. He should be back soon. Please have a seat first. My hands are shaking a bit, so I won't pour water for you, Shima Xian said dryly, distributing 60,000 merits. To be honest, the members of the commander level number 21 demon hunting squad were somewhat unwilling. However, Long Haochen firmly reassured them, trust is the foundation of success. Although they played a major role throughout the mission, Without the assistance of soldier level number 4 demon hunting squad, they wouldn't have returned safely either. Long Haochen, with his various abilities, had already taken a dominant position within the team, and no one objected, so everything was settled.